What's happening, man? All right, so I'm going to show you something that I just fucking learned. This dude named Neil showed me. So I learned how to spot when you can tell shit's going to be flowing into altcoins. So you put your Bitcoin dominance, you hit the little plus sign over there on the right, USDT.D plus USDC.D, hit enter. So you're able to access it on the daily. So what he was showing is like a cheat code, like how to tell when shit's flowing into alts, when money's flowing into alts. So you have basically your stable coins and your Bitcoin. When this number rises, one of two things is happening. Money's flowing either into Bitcoin directly or it's flowing into stablecoins, so it indicates selling pressure, very similar to how we learned with how USDT dominance works. So green means bad for alts, red means really good for alts. Because if you look right here, the last couple of days have been pretty good for alts. Bam, makes sense. Then they started to bleed a little bit. So I thought that was something really cool. And he was saying like it just kind of helps you keep track of the money flow. So something definitely worth looking into. Fucking pitch sample works. Give me 1 second. So something definitely worth looking into. So I'm gonna start playing around with this idea and just trying to see where it takes me. Can I understand it? Can I actually read it? Things of that nature. Because last thing I want to do is look like a dumbass. So I'm gonna start playing around with this idea. There we go. How about get my shit posting on? There we go. So I'll demonstrate it one more time. So BTC.D, it's a plus sign right here. USDT.D plus sign USDC.D. Hit enter. Bam. So as you can kind of see, I'm kind of curious if I can actually like chart this, like how I would with a traditional coin. I mean, it seems like a pretty cool little cheat code if this is any type of accurate, but I don't know if you can chart it though. Yeah, there's like no rhyme or reason to what's going on. Let me see if I can maybe go back a little further, see if I can chart it any other way, like in a different, like here we go, early May of last year. Things were starting to pop off. So yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to any of this. I guess maybe a little bit right there because we lost the trend. Uh, Freaking started dropping, and back in December, early December, we went nuts. Um, so I'm gonna spend probably some time like looking into this thing and like just kind of following it. I didn't know about the plus sign thing either. Neil was showing me. I was like, holy crap. So what I don't want to see is it behaving like a coin, like where you go up, come up, come down, like just having different legs like that. And it doesn't really look like that's been the case. So I wonder if like ideally we want to be like somewhere down like right here, like 52% or so to have something to like actually follow. So kind of curious about how that plays out. I just thought it was really cool for the dude to share, especially again if it does work, it can this can be a game changer. So let me see. If I had to take a guess, I would say we have resistance here. So just gonna see if you can play this like regular support and resistance because if you can, I mean shit, dude, this would be massive. Like imagine having this tool and actually being able to effectively use it. Like it would just blow my mind. But yeah, dude, I thought maybe you would think that's cool since like you're really into the learning aspect of everything. Um, Definitely wanted to check that out, and definitely want to mess around with strats. 'Cause, like I'm not trying to time the market by any means, but like just have a pretty good idea in which way the market's heading. I mean, that's really invaluable information that you don't just find randomly. It's not common knowledge. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna kind of go through and do a quick market analysis. You know what? Let me show you how where I'm getting my projections for all-time highs too. But this will blow your mind. Since the beginning of time, the Bitcoin chart. The only reason I cut that off right there is because basically it was just flat line. This was back when Bitcoin was trading in the hundreds of dollars, maybe the low thousands. Let's see, Bitcoin here was under 1,000. And the way I kind of get my idea, like for where I want to see all-time highs, like what would be considered healthy for the market, just starting with like a weekly chart. Let me do this. I mean, you can do it with the daily. So with the daily chart just going, comes up, we have our first bull run really that was like big because we had alts. Comes down, very short lived, but if you actually zoom in, and I thought this was crazy. I only saw this just the other day. 2017's bull run looks very small from afar, but looking at it, coming down from 3 grand all the way up to 20, and I just remember wanting to think about it because everybody keeps. I remember seeing a lot of stuff all over the place saying that this particular cycle is very much more related to the 2017 cycle rather than the 2021 cycle. Personally, I think it's a little bit of a hybrid of both, but we had that initial push like in the year before in 2017. We hit 19,000, almost $20,000. Came down just like we did this year, right? Came down. FOMC was the catalyst right here, assuming it was on the 19th. And then came down just like we did before. Came down again in January, and we've been kind of bleeding since February, really. But there's a lot more money in the market now, so it makes a lot of sense why we would continue to go. So going, 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 right? And I'm just going to show you where I get my idea for a catalyst again in November. Let's see. Oh, no, we did have two tops. That's what I was looking at. March. At 2017 right there. Okay, so yeah, that did happen. It happened late in the year, and then that means we go to like January, February of the year prior. Let's just make it a little bit bigger because to really appreciate like the growth that Bitcoin did have even before that. If you look right there, you had a big rally. This one told to expect in what the hell's what I'm looking for during bear market to get like bear market rallies. But here we go. Here we go. We had a push, come up, came down, yada yada yada. Then we had our push here in May, and here we are in early June. Came down, and then we fucking skyrocketed back up. But anyways, going back to the current present day, I'm just gonna show you where I'm getting my ideas, like where I think we're gonna end up with all-time highs. Like I said, I honestly think 120K, maybe 122K is gonna be our number. So we're in May, we're gonna expect to drop, we're gonna chill. Let's say it happens in November like it did last cycle. So let's find a good hard spot in November. So remember the blue line, it was just like the area where yeah, blue times do last a long time. Um just kind of get in the middle of November here. So what I've noticed is the blue line right there started from the very beginning. Same thing with the bottom one. So this tells me this is in theory a ceiling that Bitcoin can't will not expand within that time frame, which is why over time it expands greatly. But if I go up over here, I can actually see and get a really good idea what we can expect for an all-time high. So if I go in December or not, I want to go middle of November. See our all-time high in theory should be 119,000. Kind of sad because everybody wants it to be 150, 200, yada yada yada. But this is where I'm getting my data for when I say, hey, this is gonna be our all-time highs. I mean, let's say we go into late November, early December. That's when we're gonna be able to get an opportunity to hit 120. I don't think we get a deviation over this line by any means. Um, here was one that I kind of was just joking around with. I don't think this will happen. Um, I did the same thing for Ethereum just to kind of see. And let's say we go November, right? It's get an all-time high there. And by no means is this one meant to be taken any serious, but just a really good tinfoil hat moment. Um, let's see. For Ethereum to really gain its place back in the market and like to really recapture everybody again, you need an $8,500 all-time high, $8,500. Without that, over the long term, what I think is if Ethereum dies, and this is what people don't remember, like so right here, clearly right there, and then we have a valid trend line with three touches. Um, but we started a downtrend right after. Bam, and we've had a deviation there. So here's our $4,000 mark. We did 4,000 again in December. Um, we need to go higher. We need to push higher for Ethereum. If it doesn't do it, we're going to have a very different alt season. Over time, let's say hypothetically Ethereum dies. Well, the problem with Ethereum dying is all your major altcoins, your top 100 essentially, is going to die with it because they're all built on that blockchain. Um, Solana just doesn't have what it takes. It doesn't have the trend, it doesn't have the data. Because when I did the same thing with Solana, it just, in hindsight, it underperforms. So let's see, go here. That's when it started to pick up momentum. So let's say this is the starting point for Solana, right? Yeah, no way. So let's say that's a deviation right there. And we go here. Solana would need to push to $400, $420 to do it, to be the spiritual successor for Ethereum. I don't think it's going to be. Um, but people were excited. I would say if we had the best contender, and I mean, even then, I don't think so. Would be Sui. So doing the same thing with Sui, it has that just explosiveness. So this is people forget Sui's brand new. Came out in May. I think May 5th was when it came out. No, it wasn't so good. It was the 19th of May, and this exploded, created an immediate uptrend right there. And honestly, as new as yeah, Soul's crap. But honestly, if you think about it, Sui would be the biggest hope to be Ethereum's successor. It's fast, it's cheap, it's new, so it's not over burdened with its ecosystem. I would honestly like to see more utility coins come to the blockchain. They have a really good meme token, very similar to Ethereum. Their meme tokens are essentially Blue Doge and Walrus, you know, and but Walrus has utility, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I think it's still too new to say for certain, but that would be the one I would look out for. I think that one has the brightest future as of right now. If that changes over time, maybe. But yeah, um, you know, I would really like to see. I'm a big fan of Sui. Always have been since I started doing crypto. I just thought it just looks like a fun coin. You know, like if you look at what's built on it, the people that work there, they're really big on having fun, and you know, I think this could potentially be the thing. They just have to get away from that gaming stigma, um, and they'll be in really good shape. See, satisfy the XRP army. Look at the ledger. So there was something I drew, and then the goddamn press ruined me. So I don't know if anybody was watching, but I had to redo this yellow line right here because I originally when I first started drawing up my plays, XRP was in fact one of the coins that I was working with. Um, do this, put some deviation option right there. I originally had my shit like that, and then this little wick right here when the whole shit with Trump talking, fucking just hit my stop loss, broke my heart. I've been a little gun shy with XRP since, but no big deal. I've grown. My trades have gotten better. I am happy with my with where I'm at. Just got to be a little bit more mindful of the calendar for the politics and shit. I don't watch the news. I don't watch TV. Everything I look at ultimately is crypto related. Holy fucking shit! I just looked at my link trade. Hell yeah, baby! Fucking Ondo's rocket ship at 68%. Oh god, dude, that's awesome. Whew. So yeah, no, you have to readjust the lines to fit the narrative. Without that, you have nothing. Depending on who's watching right now, I want to show you guys something kind of cool. Let me just find a clean chart that may interest people. Let's look at. I want something that moves decent. I don't do Avi. Dude, hell yeah. So Ondo, let's look at Ondo. Uh, eh, good Ondo play for most of the time. Let me look at the other one. Throw me a coin that you want to look at. Basically, I wanted to just demonstrate is how to trade and chop. So if we trade and chop, we get a lot of chop sometimes, and going into this next few months, I want to be well versed in it. I need to find a coin with decent movement. You know what? Fuck it. I'll look at this crap. Solana. So I have my daily sit right here. So let's see. So typically Sunday will print your range where you can expect to trade. Let's just draw it out to about here. I'm going through, finding the bottoms, finding the top of the wick, right? And there's my range. It doesn't look like much here, but like I was trying to explain to Buzz, I don't know if he was paying or picked up on it, but what you do is for a range. I start out with a day. You can do a week, whatever. Start with a day, then start. I drop down to the 4 hours, and I'll show you how you can effectively scalp with this too. So looking at everything at this scale right here, you now have your support and resistance. You can see right here, so resistance has been tested, support has been tested. We're about to get a new daily candle here in about an hour and a half. And this is if you want to like swing trade a little bit, you can play this range right here. Basically, let me find that long tool. Let's say, oh God, no. Um, anyways, where was I? Long tool. So let's say hypothetically you open your trade here, got your risk to reward, go up. Let's just touch that right there. That move right there in that little channel gives you a 3 R&R. So basically, you're risking a 3.5 R&R. So you're basically risking one position here and gaining that 3 times over here. So that could be about a, I don't know, 50% move in profit, just to kind of work that way. And if we go shrink down on a lower time frame, like I know a lot of people do, let's shrink down to the 30 minute, and you can kind of see how much fluctuation actually happens right here. So expect to go there to there, back down to here, and just kind of play the range from 164.70 or one. It's called 165 bucks all the way up to 177. I want to find the percentage tool real fast. Hey, look, there's your fan. Retracement, Fibonacci. This way, I can also kind of give us an idea, like, hey, this is what we're getting out of this trade potentially. So you can kind of get an unleveraged percentage move. Look at that, 7.5% move right there. So you factor that in by 20. My food's default looks so gay because it is gay. It is fucking gay. Let's see here. So that right there, and also if you just want to like practice, and let's say you have the trading view essential, that means you have access to bar replay. You can actually like look for recognized patterns here. So let's pull up a Bitcoin chart real quick. I'll kind of pull that up. Let's do some replay trading. Launch bar replay. So this is something that DiFi had showed me, and this helped me a lot. You did. Come on, Mike. Launch bar replay, you bastard. I renewed my membership, you cocksucker. Hmm. Now I'm curious, did I? Huh. Could have swore I did. Go back to the 4 hour chart. The 15-minute one gives me all kinds of things. Did I do? Oh shit. Bitcoin's pushing. Okay, yeah, yeah. Let me just kind of get familiar with the positioning where they're at, and then I'll probably look into that. Okay, so here we are, bar replay. So if you ever want to hone your skills, so random bars would I always choose. Look at the date. So 2021, we were nowhere near 100K. We're going to be probably near the 60,000. Yeah, here we go. So basically, what it does is it gives you a graph at the time and it cuts off everything after. And what you want to do is you want to figure out if you're going to long or short. The goal is to get a 2 RR. So I fucking hate that with the fact that blue line's there because it kind of tells me I'm going to short this. And you'll kind of see, it's the only thing I don't like about it is you kind of know based off the date which way price is going. Because you press play, it starts to go there, and bam. So you already knew to short. That big old liquidity wick right there would have been a huge profit point. And then you can just really just practice strategy like this. So the 22nd, okay. So now this is where things get kind of funny because you see this right here. You just had a big old rally in a bear market. So looking at this, let me squeeze this down real fast. See if I can establish a trend. So what I will do is I will go through and analyze this. And here's the only time I will say that it's not cheating to use this. The date is to figure out if it's a weekend. So this is a Sunday, 9 a.m., 1 o'clock. So Asia's not quite open yet. So I would say probably going to be heading lower. So if you're looking at probability, so you figure stop loss will be somewhere like right up here. Look at that. Because as soon as Asia opened, so 1 o'clock. So right here, Japan opens is only been about 30 minutes. Because obviously this is going to be my time zone. But it goes and just kind of does the things that Japan does. And then Shanghai opens and just fucking dumps. So if you ever want to just play around with strategy, that is a great way to do it. Let's see how my faith is. Not too terrible. Mm. And you may have saw me talking to Buzz a little bit. Let's exit the replay. Yeah, 100%. Like, for example, here in about 45 minutes, Japan opens, and 2 hours after that, Shanghai opens. So, I mean, whatever that translates to you. For me, I know London will open in about 8.5 hours. They open around midnight for me. New York Stock Exchange opens 9 hours after London, which is like 6:30 in the morning for me. So I mean, just kind of knowing when you're where you're trading and stuff like that is huge. It's paramount because it'd be like playing a sport but not knowing anything about your opponent. It's awkward. You're making you're essentially just taking guesses. Um, let me see. Have we tapped 106 today? We have not. I would not be surprised if we hit up here. Just get just enough penetration in there and kind of go from there. And that's when I think we reject really hard, and we're gonna test out this trend line. The trend. This is what really supports my idea for the move down, because this trend line's been hit on the 4 hour, one, two, three, four, almost five times. I think if we would have hit that, we would have fallen through. But this next one, I think, is the one that's going to bring us down. So right now, though, we have a nice little move up, so I will take that. Um, Let me show you something really quick because I noticed that you keep thinking you're spotting head and shoulders patterns, and I keep trying to tell you that they're not head and shoulders, but I want to really just dive down in what it is. So there's QM, and I'll see if I can just pull this over into my chart, or rather, I can probably just show it to you here. So head and shoulders gets confused with Quasimodos all the time, whether if they're inverted or not. So here's your structure. Here's your head and shoulders pattern. Come on, baby, give me a bigger picture. All right, so when you form a head and shoulders pattern, you know what? Let me just copy this. See if I can just print that here. Paste that there. There we go. This way I can draw on it. Because I remember I used to confuse these two all the time as well. So you have your head and shoulders patterns, and let me get the Quasimodos. There we go. That's there. So your head and shoulders pattern. What makes it a true head and shoulders is this right here. This little guy. So you got your left shoulder, right shoulder, and your head. Then you have your neckline. The neckline is what will validate your head and shoulders pattern. There we go. Got to be precise here. Don't want to be sloppy. So you have your neckline, right? So you have your shoulders are also going to be equal in height to verify structure. There we go. So your neckline, so you go up, you create your left shoulder, you come down, you come up, you only go back to the neckline. You go back up, you cap out the same area as your previous shoulder, and then your breakout is down here, and that's what validates it. Same thing here with the inverse. Everything is even with the neckline, and the shoulders are the same height. The reason why I say it's easy to confuse with this guy, so Quasimodos. So you come up, your swing high, and then you put in your low or higher low. Yes, they must. You put in your low, you come back up for your higher high, but you're creating a lower low. So you see the difference here. That's what I was trying to point out the other day. Um, so you got your gap right there in your neckline. So you came up, broke out, came back up. You didn't retest the neckline. You actually break through the neckline. And you come up here and you make a lower high. So you got your high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, and then it breaks down. So the way that these are meant to be triggered is to your cue to short is somewhere right here as you start ascending down after you've already formed the shoulder, and you're going to come down and you're going to basically open up your short around this area. That's what you're going to try to do. And the same thing with the bullish QM here. It's the same thing, just upside down. The only difference is your shoulders are not the same height, or sometimes your shoulders can be the same height, but your neckline is everything. What that neckline is going to be the difference between, all right, we're heading to bear market, such as the head and shoulders pattern. Head and shoulders will take us to bear market, and you'll usually find that at the end of an uptrend. You'll find an inverse at the end of a downtrend, never somewhere in the middle. Like that, this is going to be your bounce area. As to where these ones right here, these can occur just to signify the change in direction of a sword. It is basically a reversal of the trend. So when I first started spotting this, I didn't know what it was called. I used to call it the Wu Tang because by the time I could see it, only the W had played out. So I would just say call it the Wu Tang, and you'll hear DieFi make reference to it. And this is its anti Wu Tang is Mu Tang. So kind of gave you a really good idea there. Do you have any questions about like that particular formation? Give it a second here. Right, but this is just the way that I've seen it play out. Worked out well. I mean, I learned it from a dude named Arnish Arschmeister. He had showed me like the difference in like basically the significance, and same thing with that guy Neil. He had showed me, which is why I kind of like take what he says, like very like okay, perfect, because like I said, your head and shoulders pattern, the neckline will be retested. It will not break. Um, your candles will close at the neckline and not go beyond it. So the neckline is what basically makes the pattern valid. Let's see this kid, all this because when I go on my phone, it's going to be retarded. Oh yeah, and I mean it's another, like this right here. Some people interpret this as a head and shoulders pattern, but you can kind of see right here, your neckline is not valid. So that right there is a bullish QM, and you see we came back down, but we went way further up. So to kind of give you an idea, like how you can see it in practice, and of course Bitcoin did it. And let me see something really quick because the guy named Rangers, he does this little segment called Rangers Ramble. He spotted an inverse head and shoulders about, yeah, it was in April. But basically, the inverse is the signal to start the bull run. But I don't know if you saw it on the weekly or not. And again, all goes back to that higher time frame that I'm mentioning because your signals are infinitely stronger. So look at that. That could be considered an inverse head and shoulders, even though we know it's not now because we went lower. Maybe it was on the weekly. I don't know what time frame he was looking on. God damn it. Oh shit, I'm in 2021. That's why. Hmm. I'm not sure what time frame he looks at. Yeah, just like that real slow grind up when you see keeping a candles like this, this in a better spot. So you're talking like these candles right here make it difficult to trade. When you get a good cluster of them right there, just want to make sure I'm understanding this right. I don't know, my case easy. There we go. Because if it's candles like this that screw you up, I can show you just a real easy way to do it. And I think I actually spoke about this a little bit ago while using Solana as the example. So you take your daily candles. So find your Sundays. So if your Sunday, so that's going to be our range we're going to play this week, I think. Let's go back to the previous Sunday. Perfect. All right, the fucking bear flag. So you find a better example here. Or if you have like a particular coin that you see that you're having some issues with. It's a week start on Monday. I think weekly does start on a Monday. Let's just out straight real quick. Now bear in mind, this isn't always 1,000,000% effective, but it'll give you a really good idea when you should long and short. Okay, so we're on February 9th, 2025. Let's shrink it down to the 4 hour. There we go. So then shrinking it down. So obviously I'm going to use this line as support. Kind of goes a little bit more. It's kind of over on the opposite side of the line. Yeah. And like when you see them like over the line, like up right here, these are just more or less considered deviations because you see how this one closed above resistance, went up a little bit, and then came down and back into that range. Um, Basically, all you're really going to want to do is use this as a guide. It's not like absolution. So, like I said, just as a guide would be phenomenal to use. And basically, what you're going to look for is you're going to look for like a. So if you let's say you get a deviation to the downside, what you'll want to do is oftentimes let the candle close and see what direction it goes, or see if it begins to pull back. Because the minute it breaks through that support, as you can see, the candle got all the way down to here, this red one, and then started retreating back. So that's my confirmation that I'm going to be looking for to say, okay, perfect. We're going to go back and play in that range again. Same here. You know, this candle went all the way down to here, started retreating, candle closed, green one open, got back in the range. Um, and basically, what you're going to do is you're going to look to open your longs here and your shorts here. So, like I said, but if you see it break below, don't open your long or short just yet. Let it play, and let's see what it does. Because it would have been easy to open a short here, thinking, okay, perfect, I got my confirmation. And sure, you would have made some money here, and probably gone back up, and would probably expect it to break back down. It never broke back down. Um, Never broke back down. That could potentially be dangerous. A dangerous play because you would have lost a lot of money here if you had just been sitting and waiting. Um, so when I always say pay with confirmation, don't be afraid to let the candle close. Um, because a candle closing will tell you more than a candle opening. There's a lot more data there. And yeah, by seeing it retreat and close, perfect. We have bullish momentum at that point. The bulls have stepped in. I'm gonna open my long probably here once I get a little bit more confirmation that we're going, and I'm perfect. Sure, I'll miss out on 7-10% there. But I will still gain and just kind of go up and let it ride. Um, let the candle close. Like I said, always close your trade when closed candles happen. I mean, not necessarily. I mean, you can use any time frame. Basically, what you're doing is you're shrinking it down. Like this one right here, I just did a real small example. Um, by starting out with the day, getting the range, breaking it down to 4 hours so I can see a little bit more price action. But for people that scalp, they get in choppy markets. See what day is this made? Okay. And then let me see real quick. Right, I'm trying to work. March. And again, for scalping, here's that same play right there. Um, so if you just want to do like small moves, but I always try to use the 4 hour because it's going to give you enough data. Um, Sometimes you get like a perfect play where everything stays within the range, and then perfect 15 minutes. That's my key to scalp instead of the swing. Is when I see everything playing within that range, right? Because A, I want to make money, and B, uh, why not? So we had our range right here. Bear in mind, a lot of this stuff is open and closing within here. Um, and then like looking here, as you can kind of see that you have support and resistance. I want to find like a good middle area right here. Here we go. So you have your mid range. So you don't usually want to try to open up a trade here. And I know people get anxious and it leads to over trading. But as you can see right here, it also works as support and resistance. And if you see everything just kind of bouncing up and down there, um, everything just bouncing up right here and just playing that middle range. Um, Basically, you can kind of work right there, and you can scalp a little bit there, and let's kind of get an idea for percent values, like where you can get like almost guaranteed percents. So that right there is 1.5%. So that's what I'm saying. This is your cue to scalp. Is when you're working 1.5%, doesn't work anything. It doesn't really that's when you want to use your higher leverage, like your 50 to 75 X. I still don't do that because I like to think that I have graduated from scalping at this point. Um, but yeah, no, opening mid range is dangerous because you don't know where it's going to go. And especially when you get some stuff like this, right? Like this little key right here, you don't know which way it's going to go. Like if we didn't have this data, who's to say? You just see a bunch of red candles, so you're going to assume the short. But what does it do? It comes up, and this is where people start panic selling because they think that they failed. Um, let's bring this out a little more because this is going to play all the way through the week. This middle range area, it's going to play all through the week. But kind of give you an idea. So if you have a lower volatility point, you can almost guarantee it's going to be just slow moving through here and then kind of break up and then play up there for a little bit and then come back down and play back up. Right here, I scared the shit out of a lot of people. Wait, the 2018? I think that was right before right after the crypto party. Went up, bam, 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 scam pump, and then down to oblivion. Um, and this will also be a really good example of why to use a 4-hour chart because look at that. These were 4-hour candles, so the amount of time that it spent breaking down is fucking nuts. It's kind of going through. So when you get like a real small candle choppy, like I said, just expand your horizons to the daily because a lot of the times, the smaller the candle, the more likely it's just playing the range. It's just going right there in that mid range, right? And that's what's going to produce your smaller candles, but where you think there's really not a whole lot going on, but really it's just the price action. Because if you open up to 4 hours, it's a little bit more appealing. But man, I don't want to wait. Let me see, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I don't want to wait a day to get that if I'm trying to scalp. So with the 4 hour, it's going to be primarily used for swing trading. I know there's some fucking crazy dudes out there that'll scalp with a 1 hour. I don't have it in me to do it. Um, if I want to open a trade, I don't want to play in a range. I want to play the breakout. And playing the breakout is what Electron's been doing. Um, like when he had like all those coins just taken off, he was opening up his trades like right here, and that's when you had your gas trades, and things were just fucking doing 800%. Really good time. Um, yes, yes, it does create a sub level support, and then obviously you just have your trend lines right there. What was that one coin that one dude was talking about, which is fucking weird to me? Let me see. It's been a while. Yeah, I saw somebody in chat asking if anybody thought that this coin had potential. Maybe I'll just do a quick analysis of it. I think I still have it pulled up in my saved ones here. I don't. Sweet. Let me see if I can find it in the Discord real fast. We started going off of the tangent there. But it was that blue chocolate food. It was legitimately VIP. It isn't trading anything. Let's see. Remember, started with something fun. Let's see. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that oh, Dynasty got roasted by Delta. Oh, fucking Delta. The ARB, that was what he was looking at. Let's see. All right, so let's look at this kid's coin that he had questions about. See, and even then, even though we got a nice little pump going, I wouldn't have opened that trade. I would have wanted some more value right around here at the 34 cents, not at 36. I know it's 2 pennies, but in these shit coins, these pennies matter because a penny will sometimes equivocate to a dollar. Kind of like how H bar behaves. And you could be leaving a lot of money on the table. And if I'm going to swing trade something, I want there to be plenty of money on the table. I'm not there to waste my time or anybody else's. So ARB could be kind of cool to trade, I guess. It's not for me. But if we get it on a higher time frame, is it high time frame bullish? Because right now, kind of like what I was pointing out with Ethereum earlier, it's a lower time frame bearish. Everything's kind of see there, comes down, gets a deviation, comes back down. So high time or low. Let's call that mid time frame, bullish or bearish. But pulling back on the daily, it is still bearish. Pull it back on the weekly. Oh yeah, okay, I wouldn't touch this coin with a 10-foot fall, man. It has been bearish since February of 24, and it hasn't even been out that long. It didn't even have a good launch. Holy crap! There is no redeeming value here. What a shame. He's probably doing what a lot of newer traders do, and he's looking at, oh my God, can I turn $5 into 100? Yada yada yada. Um, my answer with this coin is don't touch it. Like, it's not even worth scalping. Mhm. I mean, it is somewhat making a bull flag, I guess, but I have no interest in this fucking coin. I will not say to look at that coin until you get to that discount zone because we know kind of like there's some room there. Like I said, 34 cents. That's gonna be my zone right there. Let's see, can I find a rectangle where to close it at? Geometric shape, where are you at? It's this one. Let me see. This range. Finger. Forecast. No. You know, fuck it. I'll just do it old school. Basically, I would not be looking to trade this coin until, right there looks good to me. Until that coin hits here, I will not be looking to even entertain the idea. And even then, I would want some confirmation of strength. I'd want to see some green candles closing up. If they don't, then it's not worth it. It's just simply not worth it. This is something. You see something here? Oh my God, yes, that's fucking awesome. 130x, 100%. Fucking love to see it. See your 30x into my 20x. Gives you about a 40% boost over me there. Mm-hmm. A good shit though on that. 100%, man. I'm glad fucking it's working out for so many people. But I don't know if you caught Raja when I was talking with him about like opening stuff, and he had said something to me that actually made a lot of sense. He goes, basically, since I like to trade on the 4 hour, I want to use the weekly as my confluence. So the way Raja trades is he looks for the moment that the structure went from bearish, so up right here, down to here, until when it went bullish. So on the weekly, it went bullish in this candle. When I shrink it down to the daily, you can start to pinpoint price positions. So this right here, this candle, this is the area I'm looking to break is right here. So it began to get bearish here on the four or on the daily, came down. The minute it passed there, that's your cue to start longing because this candle is when it became bullish again. And again, kind of how I've been on about the retesting. It has to happen for us to go higher. You need that big drop to be able to springboard you further up. And then when I shrink down that four or daily, I'm now going to shrink down to the 4 hour where I like to be. And it just becomes so much more evident. You had your bottoms, came back down, went up, came back down. And if you look here, it'll apply because you can actually see it's already done it. So right here, so you got your neckline, broke down, but it came back up. So this is the moment it went bullish because that wick right there is when it did the thing. And then you can see it had a really strong move up. And then now it's breaking back down, but not after putting in a really solid wave right there. They come back to retest and then technical target. Let's see. So technical target is from the point it went bearish, it went up 46%, right? And I think we could see at the very least the same move, if not a little more. I would honestly begin to target previous range highs, so we recapture that range in a manner. I would expect to see a reclamation of this range, so the 75, 80%, and that's when you become full-time bullish. But that's going to probably be, I don't know, 2 or 3 more pumps before we see that type of move again. But if we hit that and springboard, that's our cue to go higher, and we're going to be slick again, somewhere between 68 cents and 83 cents. So that's how I project my targets. Let me see. You'll kind of see how it's reflected in my link trade. Mhm. So came back down, hit that sweet spot like we had mapped out. And you can see the first time it went really well. Second time's going just as well. But I am targeting this previous range high. So before we drop, I'm actually looking to reclaim it, come back down, and probably, if we were to retest hypothetically, because you have to go up and down, it has to be in waves. If it's not in waves, it's not valid. That's how you know you got a scam pump. The wave is what makes it valid. We got that fucking double top minutes. But yeah, we'll at least come back up because we already reclaimed this area. Maybe we reclaim this area next and kind of come back down to about here, and then we begin our move substantially higher. Um, I always use Electron's description on his ship. Is so the bio on Discord says there's nothing new under the sun, and basically he's got to look back at things to get a really good idea on what to expect. It says you wish to predict the future, look at the past. There's nothing new under the sun. So everything is patterns, and that is how Electron trades. Um, Higher IQ than I possess, but it's not really a way that I like to trade. But at least I understand where he's getting his data from and where he's getting his targets from. I mean, I've learned so much from that man. That's a beautiful little fucking. Ooh, tried to be a cup and handle, but it happened too fast. Huh. Check that out. I have no idea what else circling there anymore. But yeah, no, we are definitely going to move higher. Oh wait. So let's say hypothetically this thing plays out to perfection. Yeah, there we go. 2001, whatever. Our risk to reward ratio will be 2.16. Dude, same here. Same here. 35's never been so sweet. But yeah, it's kind of how I do things in a nutshell. And so far, it's been working that way. Like I said, me personally, indicators just hurt me more than anything. I tried to rely on them too much. I don't understand them. And let me see something really quick. This is to make your Fibonacci's happy. I guarantee you, that spot where I'm looking is going to be very close to the golden pocket. That's pretty close. It's just so strange how we rejected from the golden pocket. The 786 though, boom. And then this right here will smash any doubt that Buzz has in my trades and their projections. How dare he question Dot? Oh no. And then seeing as how you enjoy the Fibonacci, I will show you on Dot. I did this and a friend of mine actually pointed it out that I had projected right in the golden pocket. Ah, so right there. Okay. Why do I do this? So look at that, 76, 618. It's beautiful, almost quite the golden pocket. Because ideally, I'd like to be right there. Hmm. Did I get a little too greedy with this one? Maybe. Um, just looking at that big old support layer right there, I have no idea what it could have bounced off. Oh shit. All right, rocket ship time. Yeah, I'm still learning though, so I'm not. I'm not going to count this one as a loss. in the scheme of things on the cycle, though. Dot isn't ready yet. I don't know. I might try to build another play around the polka dot. Probably somewhere around. I don't know if we can reclaim this next area. I will probably look to probably make the face melting play, assuming that this next dot trade doesn't go down. I do expect it to hit that entry. Oh shit. Well, at the very least, I've given myself maintained credibility that I do not use indicators. What have I done? I should open at the top and then drag down, is what you're saying? Hmm. Mhm. Oh, okay, okay. Picking up what you're putting down here. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I see where I fucked up. Ah, Fibonacci, why does it look my ass the way that it does? There we go. Yeah, now I'm in the golden pocket, baby. Oh, fuck it. Fucking bugs. You don't know everything. Yeah, nobody does. I see. Let's see what else we got here. It is, in fact, causing big spikes in Bitcoin. All right, now let's look at some coins and kind of get ourselves a clean slate here. I want to look at something different. What's out there for me? Part of me kind of wants to look at BNB, but I don't know. Holy crap, dude! Fucking Link is just killing it. Mm. I call that a winning trade. You know, let's look at FET. I remember when I first got into VIP, um, FET was kind of like something that Orange was really big on. Look at that. Oof. Oh, it did what I wanted. You know what? Let's draw up an FET deal here. All right, man, you're catching this one live. Hmm. All right, here we go. So let's open here. Oh, mhm. There we go. Little three. Current market price. Give me a moment. You're about to see something. You say nothing. I'm gonna draw this son of a bitch up. $1.43. All right, there you go. Mhm. Come on, goddammit. Oh yes, yes, yes. I got DMs. Hard ideas. Let me do it like this actually. So let's just go on. Okay, there we go. You know, I'm really happy that a lot of my trades, especially like when we've had fairly low volume from analysts. I get it. It's the weekend. That's really a big reason what made me start doing this is I know people want to trade during the weekend. Let's see, FET. So what would be a good DCA point? 73.51. I would say my stop loss, I'd want it just below there at 62.76. So draw some big profits now. Now let's target for 84.55. Be a nice little spot. No, no, fuck that, dude. We're going big balls move here. And now we're gonna start being a little bit more bold with our big profits. Here we go. Here we go. Drawn out. Perfect. I got my name in. Let's take a look at it here. DCA over 73.61. There we go, man. We just knocked ourselves out a homemade trade right here. That's how you do it. I'm surprised nobody spotted these gems, dude. Like, god damn. Like Link was screaming at people to fucking trade it. And then we're gonna ride this wave here. We're gonna ride that trend line right there. That's gonna be our bounce off point. Damn. I've been wanting to do something with FET for such a long time. So not really a fan of this song, man. Let's find that different fucking band. The band sucks too. I really could do some Creed. That'd be hilarious. Damn, this is that version. Okay, cool. Here we go. I'm not gonna lie. Link is or not Link, but FET is kind of a like an okay one, I think. I wish I would have gotten to it a little earlier, but I still think we're early enough to make some money. People might be copies into Link. So put them in for FET real quick, and then we'll keep the show on the road, man. Lie, dude, this FET fucking trade might be fucking nuts. All right, here we go. Let's keep moving. Dude, is there a particular coin that you want looked at, Tulsa? Let's take a look at this one here for you. So you use Mexi, so use the Mexi chart. It's fair-ish, but it's not the worst thing by any means. Okay, it post a screenshot or something like that, like right here. Yeah, like right there. That's gonna be your sweet spot. 18246. With that, you could anticipate targeting these this like at least right here. The two the 0.24 area would be like an immediate target, part of like scalping, but I don't know, just that support right there just makes me real nervous. The fact that it bled through already once, twice. But the upside is though, you're in the middle of forming something that you haven't done yet with this. And it is a bigger triangle. It is a much bigger triangle as opposed to these little guys, just weaker and weaker. So that right there is going to be a very bullish sign because now you've put in the high, the low, the lower high, the lower low, lower high, higher low. Now you got in the higher high. So looking at that, you got to kill all the lines sometimes. I do that sometimes, like especially when the trade isn't really working out. Um, I'll just fucking wipe the chart, start over. I wonder what my P&L was for today. Damn, 44% unleveraged. Hell yeah, baby. When that prints out, it'll be nice. I don't like that there's many fall freakouts I've seen. Yes, yes, there is. Um, it's just a really volatile coin. It looks like, man. Just there's no like when it goes up, it goes up. When it comes down really hard. You have this crazy liquidation spike right there, which why somebody's leveraging that much on AXION, I have no idea. Um, but right here, we do not have a false breakout. Right here is a legitimate breakout. So that is a good sign because it never came back to bounce off the support. So I mean that's something that has going for it. So I mean ideally the best long would have been here, but I would have probably maybe longed it like right around here or so. Just because I have the confirmation of strength because the count one, two, three candles closed and didn't come back. And then would have been perfect. That would have been perfect. The confirmation here would have been more than enough for me to want to long it. But I don't know, I'm not familiar with the coin. Just not familiar with it at all. And I don't typically like to trade stuff that I am not familiar with. Like even with FET, I don't watch it, so I have no idea how it moves, but I'm familiar with the coin itself. The coin is a conglomerate. It used to just be Fetch AI. Now it's a artificial superintelligence. Basically, it's a merger of three companies that are all big into AI. And if AI is going to be the future, then yeah, it's exciting. So FET probably has some like real solid power there. Let's see something. Yeah, there we go. That's your new trend right there, baby. So this thing will probably come up, hit this 2 cent mark, and come back down, probably around there. And with any luck, you want that higher low. Without that higher low, the whole trade breaks down. So you want to see something like this. If you go here, then it's a confirmation of going down. If you come and stop about here and come up, that is your confirmation of strength because the higher low will take you higher. So that's what you're going to want to look for. Why does he do that? I have this over here. Well, the fact that we haven't Tenko and Asia's open is a miracle in itself. I would have been certain almost that they would have tried to take profits. Yeah, no, freaking. Right now, I think for XEN, your best course of action, just based on its price action, it doesn't have enough movement for swing trading for me, but I could definitely see a really solid scalping coin here. That's going to be the move. Hmm. Here we go. So, yeah, this is a scalper's wet dream right there, man. So let's break it down to the day here. I almost feel like you might be the range that you're in could be the issue in this up real quick. It's in the downtrend right now. So let's see. So here's what you'll want to do with XCN if you want to just scalp it. Like this is like your guilty pleasure coin. Do that. Do this. There we go. We have our daily. Oh, you said you feel like it's choppy. It is because your range is kind of small. So let's see one more area here. Let's go down to the 1 hour. Because what might be honestly happening is you could be yep, exactly. You're playing the mid range. So it just yeah. So you're in the middle of nowhere. So you're smart not to be messing with it right now, trying to long it or short it. Of no relation. It's just usually after a weekend. Your Mondays are typically red candle days. It's just I don't know why it's just the way that it is. I think with all the pumping from regular retail, Asian investors probably like, wait a minute, let's take some profits off this from trades that they opened on Friday, because since Asia's closed, the U.S. was the last market to do anything with anything, and they discounted everything. And then over the weekend, retail decided to uh, pump pump the market. So what I come to find is at times like this, institution money will typically take retail money. Um, I definitely see what you're seeing there. Oops. Um, you'll want to mid ranges here. That was very clear. Yeah, that is excellent. Mm. So if you're looking to do anything with the 1 hour, there's your setup. So right now, since you're in the middle of nowhere, right now with the market being bullish, I wouldn't be surprised if we break through the mid range and we start chopping up top there. In terms of percentage, and look at that for a range, you have almost 8% for total for your range. In your low range, almost 5%, and then for your upper range, you have 3.15%. So I mean, definitely where your bread and butter is going to be in this lower portion of the two. The only problem is though, the more you consolidate down below, it's usually an indication of a breakdown. The more you consolidate underneath resistance is going to be your indicator for a breakout. Um, in this case, you treat the daily close candle. Correct, correct. But it'll, so like I said, typically your first candle for the daily for that week is going to last you translate into your weekly candle. Um, and realistically, you could probably play that for the whole week, and that's going to be your range. It's going to be in a roll to chop. So look at that weekly candle, almost spot on. So your mid range, low range. And like I said, you could even go further. And if you want to like set up swing trades off of this, kind of like what I'm doing with Link, you could do the same thing, but with the weekly candle. So I mean, there's some money to be made. The only problem is though, oh, this is our weekly candle. Yeah, we're good. We're Gucci. No, you can actually make some pretty good trades right here, swinging. So if you open up the weekly, right? So there's your weekly candle, and just start dropping down time. You got your daily candle, right? So you got some movement there, a little deviation, no big deal. But I don't think we start until here anyways. So you can do that. Let me open the weekly gap back up. God damn it. Why do I do this to myself? Be precise here. This is something poor Bojangles never would have gotten a hold of. So right indicator. So here's where your week starts, and this kind of your day starts. Bam, bam, bam. Sink down again because right now, without even seeing, I can tell you right now that this will more than likely be your mid range. Very possible. And then continue shrinking it down to the 4 hour. See, look at that, look at that. Shrink it down to the 2 hour. The 4 hours where you'll set up your swing trades. Anything lower is just going to be like miniature swing trades. And bam, for 1 hour. And let's go nuts and let's do the 1 second. I'm just kidding. 30 minutes. And then let's cap it off. Everybody's favorite, 15 minutes. So you kind of see. So even if we break down because everything's dancing on resistance right here on support, if it were to have broken down, this would have been the lowest you would have gone. This is the highest you will go. So what I would wait for is a little bit of this because it's kind of like my vague knowledge of this thing. I would anticipate some movement like this for a little bit, and then probably here just to break up to here, and then up right here is where you're going to want to look to open up your positions. So if you were to look to open up a short, easily said right there. This thing, I'm not sure how volatile it is, but maybe just keep a really tight stop loss so this way you don't wreck yourself, right? So look at that, a 10 to 1 risk to reward on essentially 20% almost, 19.5% just in that range. So there's your swing low. If you're going to do a swing high trade, so let's say you want a long, you'll wait for here. This is the last split. All right, so there we go. Stop loss here. Let's let you, because I'm going to line it up right there. And then the area to long, so 3. Let's say you go fucking nuts and it plays that whole range for you. Because if we hit there and we don't hit that stop loss, you're in really good shape. See, right now, the reason why I only do this particular portion of the range for it is because one reason is because the market right now is bullish. So I'm more worried about us going up. So when trying to short, than I am about going long. So the whole point of long pullback season, as I keep calling it, is to set up your long trades, not to necessarily short, because I'm already watching so many people get wrecked on shorts. Oh my God, dude. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. Link is fucking. Oh my God, what's your link at right now, dude? Oh my God. But anyway, fourth market, you want to set up longs. And this is how I'm setting up my rate trades and stuff like that. So if you're looking for indicators, there you have it. That's how you're gonna find it. Find your range. That's how you're gonna set up your swing longs. There's that new weekly candle right there. So today's the day where we see our range, our true range. So as you can see right here, I'm not trying to play anything crazy significant out of range. And when you look into the weekly, it's really not all that impressive of a trade. I'm setting my stop losses just under wicks. So the weekly, let's look at the daily. Showing high opens in an hour and a half. So yeah, I'm liking this. So yeah, so right here, $3 isn't anything crazy to think about. I'm really just kind of going up right here and reclaiming this range. Perfect. Yes, you're not doing this good. Let me just post some of these flexes here. Mhm. All right, so let me see what happened with Ethereum here. The vaults are flying this way, man. Yeah, I'm glad you're getting something out of these streams, man. That's my whole purpose of doing this is just trying to teach them. When I first started doing this, nobody was explaining shit. And I just kind of had to figure it out. And then guys like Delta and Wizard would basically give me the confirmation. All right, so still still low time frame bearish on the Ethereum. We're definitely testing this. We're definitely testing this $2,100 zone, I think. Also, bear in mind though, when opening your swing trades, like Electron was saying, you've been getting front ran. Basically, what's happened? Let's say, for example, the opening for Ethereum is 23.25, right? There's so much institution money that understands what retail is doing, and they want that retail money that they're opening up their trades just here, just fucking barely edging them out. Um, so that's something to be mindful of. So I've been opening my trades just a little higher than where I would normally want to open them. So, for example, like the link, my ideal opening price was 1505, but because of the front running, I decided to drop up it to 1508. And the same thing with the 1530. My ideal price was 15 and a quarter. Um, and I didn't want to take the risk. Let's pick that up. Delete. Oh, that's the trade I don't want to remember. I was feeling like I was in my groove. Yeah, no fucking. I remember the first time I saw USDT and BTCD, like, what the fuck do I need to know the alphabet for? Trying to make money, not learn to read. Sweet. Yeah, I think this is the point. So to resume being bullish on Ethereum, I need to see a reclamation of $2,700. $2,700, and you will make your newer high. Because then between 20, if you take 27 here, you're going to take 29. If you take 29, you're going to take 3,000. If you take 3,000, you can hit 34. From 34, you're going to look, aim for here. So that 37. And like I said, we just really need to get some strength. So the pairing. So look at that. The pairing is retesting. The Bitcoin Ethereum is doing the retest. The only thing that we haven't seen is Ethereum itself retest. And like I said, the retest should be right about here. I mean, realistically, 2,200 could be the point instead of the 21 that everybody's hoping. Oh, dude, so did I. I broke even in January. I had lost about $500 and in spots, and after that, it was just digging out of a hole. And then I sold my shit the day before inauguration day and just set in liquid because we had that really big pump the day before Trump took office. I was just jamming. And so that hurt. That one hurt a lot. Jesus Christ, dude. Fucking hell. I'm not even to take my first take profit on FET is 250%. And then the big one. Yeah, so those are my active trades. I don't think I posted H bar though. Maybe I did, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, dude, we'll get you to fucking break even though. The last thing I do, I will get the VIP guys back to break even. I'm pretty sure I got numbnuts back to break even already. Buzz. Um oh dude, absolutely things will get better. Like I said, the fact that I've come this far, I guarantee you all of my bags that fucking Cthulhu and Prunk never thought I'd fucking make it or get the hang of this. That's the really funny part. Like I'm over here going like I'm trying to be the MVP of crypto. Let's see what's out there. Data, you were absolute garbage. CRV already did this thing. TRX hasn't done anything. Love you doing Atom. Louis, I'll put it. Fuck by XLM. I don't want it. Kind of curious about Litecoin. Nothing here is really speaking to me though. Um, hell, I don't believe in it. LDO, I can't trade it. I can trade LDO. LDO does go kind of wild. But people, mm, mm, Aptos maybe. I prefer its counterpart Sui substantially more, but it is what it is. What is that? Losing. You know what? If I can't pick up Aptos right around, hypothetically, Aptos goes right about right here might not be a bad price. 507.43. That might be a move worth looking at. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. So it shows that I have a message, maybe, in my spam folder. Who's getting the butt cheeks today, baby? Okay. Nothing in the spam folder. Yeah, I kind of wonder if maybe it falls down to here, just to slingshot. No fucking way. Oh my god, I sniped the fuck out of that. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. I will say though, the one I can honestly say I sniped. Am I gonna find this? No, I'm on a fucking spot draft, I think. Yes, I am, I think. Yes, I am. I'm using a fucking spot draft. Oh god. This sucks. Comes that retracement from fucking Japan, as expected. I'm not exiting these positions. Okay, I think I want to wrap this one up. Unless you got anything in particular you want to look at. A few seconds here. Yeah, I'll catch you later, man. Thanks for checking it out.